You come into this world with nothing and you leave this world with nothing. Those are things that my 81-year-old dad, Dad, I love you. He actually just got his hip replaced today. So, but Dad, I love you. But that's something my dad and I talk a lot about when we're just sitting around talking life. And, now that we're entering the holiday season here in November, and obviously the stuff that my dad's going through right now, and just some other stuff that's going on with people that I know, that line really resonates with me, that, we're born into this world with nothing, and we really do leave with nothing. And what in the heck does that have to do with anything that's going on in the Central Indiana real estate market? Well, in terms of what the things that really matter in life, honestly, not that much. But one of the things that I feel so blessed about, and being able to sell real estate here in Central Indiana for the last 20 years, is that I really get to sell something that matters in people's lives. The truth of the matter is we go through however amount of time we have left on this earth. And most of the stuff that we buy, most of the stuff that we purchase actually becomes less valuable and depreciates over time, and really just becomes junk that ends up in a junkyard somewhere in a storage unit, other than maybe the sentimental things that they mean to us. One of the few differences in life and that is real estate. And it's one of the key reasons why I say don't wait to buy real estate, buy real estate and wait. And, I think it's something, it's one of the few things you can acquire in this life that actually goes up over time, and that's basically irrefutable, right? I always like to lead with data, as you guys know. A little fun fact here: back in 1964, if you had $10,000, it would have been worth $10,000 back in 1964. Back in 1964, the purchasing power of that, right? Well, $10,000, that same $10,000 back in 1964, if you fast forward to 2024, that's only worth $1,002 now. So if you just would have kept $10,000 in 1964 in a bank, that would have the same purchasing power today as $1,000 would, which, as we know, $1,000 doesn't get you very far. Now, what if somebody would have invested in real estate, and let's say they would have had a 10% down payment and bought a $100,000 house back in 1964? And again, these are hypotheticals, but it speaks to depreciating asset versus appreciating asset, buying things of value that go up in time versus not. If you would have put $10,000 down on a $100,000 property in 1964, based on the average annual appreciation, that property would be worth over $1 million right now. $1,029,300 is what that would be worth. So that is a difference of $1 million, which I don't know about you, but for someone like me, that's a lot of money, right? So, but again, we come into this world with nothing and we leave with nothing. We're ultimately just stewards of the resources that God gives us. One of my favorite, most meaningful things in selling real estate here in Central Indiana is to help people buy something that is meaningful, that can go up in time, and what that means for you and your loved ones. So while we are going to talk about the most recent Central Indiana data and stats that I provide each and every month, what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to miss the forest for the trees, right? And whether we're in the spring season or in the winter season, right? It's snowing out here the week before Thanksgiving, right? So the season's changing. We're heading into the holiday season, but invest in things that are meaningful. First and foremost, relationships, and hopefully you get to do that with your friends and family here over the holiday season, but also in your life. And whether you're using me or you're using somebody else, go get you some real estate, wait, and watch that thing and watch that grow over time. That's something that I feel very confident in, and that's something that whatever's going on in the market, you should feel comfortable too. However, if you are looking for a little bit more strategic or actually more tactical information on what's going on in the Central Indiana real estate market, we got you covered right now. So as you guys know, I always compile this from the previous month's stats. So these are from October, and then we're going to compare these numbers from a year ago in October, and then actually 4 years ago, back in October of 2020, and maybe just talk about that a little bit and kind of some of the things that I've seen in the market. So you guys that watch this, you know how we do it. So right now in Central Indiana, we have 15.5% more homes for sale now than we did a year ago, or again, actually in October than we did in the previous October. In Hamilton County, 17.5% more homes for sale, and in Marion County, 13.1% more homes for sale. So we have more home sales across the board, or excuse me, more homes for sale, more inventory than we had a year ago at this time. What's really interesting too is if you think back to 2020, end of the year 2020, we actually have much more inventory on the market now than we did back then. Central Indiana, we have 56.1 homes for sale, more homes for sale now than we did 4 years ago. That's over 2,000 more homes for sale now than that were for sale at the same time 4 years ago. Hamilton County has 42% more inventory, and Marion County is 43.5%. So we are seeing substantially more homes for sale. Now, home sales, the number of homes that are going under contract and pending, what does that look like? Well, here in Central Indiana, for the month of October in 2024, home sales were up 0.2%. So we had 15% more homes, but only 0.2 more sales. So that's a pretty stark contrast. That slows the speed of the market down, as we've talked about in recent market updates. Hamilton County had 1.9% more sales than a year ago, and the Marion County actually had 1.8% fewer sales. So again, we're seeing home sales are very similar to about a year ago, but there's about 15% more inventory or so across the board. So now, how do the home sales now compared to 4 years ago? This is where it's really startling. Again, keep in mind in Central Indiana, we have 56.1% more homes for sale now than we did 4 years ago. So we have for every 10 homes that were for sale 4 years ago, there's now 15 homes basically for sale. However, the number of homes going under contract in Central Indiana is down 29.9%. Hamilton County is down 33.1%. That's basically 1/3. And Marion County is down 32.9%. Again, basically 1/3. So we have basically across the board 50% more inventory, a little bit more than that, a little bit less in some counties, but basically about 50% more inventory and about 30% fewer home sales than compared to 4 years ago. So again, the speed of the market, right? That slows the market down a little bit. And I think it's important that sellers understand that buyers have more choices in this market. However, if you're positioned well and if you're willing to be patient, right? Just like with that long-term investment with real estate, if you're patient, we are still seeing overall prices remaining strong. We're starting to see a lot more standard appreciation levels. In the last year here in Central Indiana, the average sales price has gone up 3.3%. 2.9% in Hamilton County and 5% in Marion County. So even though there's been fewer sales and much more inventory compared to a year ago, and certainly compared to 4 years ago, home values have not diminished. They've actually gone up a little bit more. So again, not at all the rate of the last few years, but home prices have gone up in the last 4 years, 38.4% in Central Indiana. So the average homeowner in Central Indiana has seen their home value increase by $96,000. In Hamilton County, the average home has increased by $154,000, and in Marion County, that number is $75,000. So and we're really seeing these statistics hold pretty true, really month to month now. So we're starting to see a lot more stable. I really call it a professional market now, where things are becoming more normalized. Unfortunately, there's not been a lot normal in the last 2 to 3 to 4 years, right? Whether it was the pandemic and then not having any inventory and then low interest rates and then inflation rising. One of my good buddies has said we've gone through basically a generation of change in about 4 years, and I think that's so true. But again, we may come into this world with nothing. We may leave with nothing. But in between, we get to play this game called life, and in this game called life, if you make good decisions, you can be a good steward with the resources that you've been given, that you've been blessed. And I really encourage you to make real estate, whether it's a primary residence, whether it's an investment property, whether it's land. I really encourage you to really make that a central part of something that is worth acquiring, that is worth passing down, that is something that has value. And as you go into this holiday season, I really encourage you and bless you to think about, investing in those things that are valuable. First and foremost, relationships, and just and taking the lessons that life gives you and learning from it. And when it comes to tangible things, listen, there's few things that you can do better than buying a piece of real estate. So hopefully this is helpful for you. If you know somebody that could benefit from this message, hopefully it's encouraging. That's my intention for that. And if you know somebody looking to make a move, and they want to they want to work with a professional that has a proven track record, that has been in the business a long time, that takes that long-term perspective, we would love to serve them here at Andy Leakey & Associates. And as always, we are never too busy for your referrals. Thanks so much.